What most people get wrong about Greek mythology. Greek mythology is ironically the victim of myth, Hollywood shortcuts, centuries of retellings, and a little wishful thinking turned complex stories into cartoons. Today, we're setting the record straight. Everything you think you know about Greek myths is wrong, and the truth is wilder. Medusa wasn't by Chanty alone. Pandora opened a jar, not a box. Zeus wasn't omnipotent. Hades wasn't evil. Sirens aren't mermaids. Titans aren't cartoon villains. The 12 keep changing. Heroes weren't spotless, gods weren't single purpose, and a myth was a chorus, not one book. Hollywood flattened the gods. Your teachers and memes kept the errors. And no, Zeus didn't even forge his own thunderbolts. Before Olympus came chaos. I'm Titan's Shurazo 7. Let's rewrite Olympus and set the record straight. The jar opens now. Gods aren't cartoons. Zeus wasn't omnipotent. He's king, not a modern, all-powerful deity. He negotiates, he schemes, and sometimes he loses. To other gods, and always to fate. Hades wasn't evil. He's the administrator of the Underworld, not a devil, just the god in charge of where everyone eventually goes. Aphrodite wasn't only beauty and romance. Through her long entanglement with Ares, she carries a sharpened martial edge. Love and war often travel together. No god had just one job. Portfolios overlap. Gods of love guard the battlefield. Huntresses protect childbirth. The pantheon is multitasking by design. Ares wasn't beloved. The Greeks admired courage, but they distrusted senseless violence. Ares, volatile, destructive, wasn't the civic favorite, even if epic poetry features war. Origins and orders. There isn't one fixed list of 12 Olympians. The lineup changes by source and city. Tradition, not a hard roster. The Olympians weren't first. It begins with chaos, then Gaia and Uranus, then the Titans. Cronus fathers Zeus. Only after a generational struggle do the Olympians rule. The Titans weren't pure evil. They're earlier generation gods with human-like complexity, capable of kindness and cruelty. Or famous faces, reframed. Medusa wasn't the only snake-haired figure. Her sisters, Stheno and Euryale, are Gorgons too, and unlike Medusa, they're immortal. Pandora didn't open a box. In early Greek poetry, it's a jar, a pythos, and she's more than a cautionary tale. She is remembered as the first mortal woman, an archetypal ancestor. Hephaestus didn't make Zeus's thunderbolts. The Cyclopes did, the original master smiths. And yes, Zeus was a notorious seducer. The myths are explicit about his many metamorphoses and offspring. Heroes and mortals. Achilles' real weak spot wasn't just his heel. Early tellings highlight his humanity and pride, hubris, more than a single anatomical flaw. Theseus wasn't spotless. He defeats the Minotaur with Ariadne's help, then abandons her on Naxos. Heroism and cruelty can share a single name. Demigods didn't come preloaded with superpowers. Some receive gifts, others don't. Many are exceptional mortals, later honored like gods. The gods were all fictional is too simple. Poets often blurred lines, immortal tales about figures who may have had real kernels in memory or cult. Myth and memory intertwine. Creatures miscast. Sirens aren't mermaids. They're half-bird, half-woman singers who enchant sailors with voices, not tales. Scylla wasn't always a monster. In some stories, jealousy transforms a beautiful nymph into the terror sailors fear. Centaurs aren't uniformly wise. Many are unruly and violent. Chiron, the learned mentor, is the famous exception. But have places and afterlives. The Underworld isn't simply hell. It's a structured realm with rivers and regions. Punishment for some, rest or bliss for others. Books, belief, and the telephone game. Greek and Roman mythology aren't the same. They overlap, but Roman religion is differently organized and often more pragmatic about worship. Myth isn't a single book like scripture. It lived orally for centuries, generating variant versions before anyone wrote them down. Not all Greeks believed the same things. Local cults, evolving practices, and competing poets ensured a kaleidoscope of stories. And no, the Greeks didn't universally revere Ares. Many found him difficult, too close to chaos. In epic, he even backs Troy. The Trojan Horse is literature first. The war lives most securely in poetry and later storytelling, not in settled archaeological proof. As for the end of the old worship, over centuries, the cults waned and gave way to new faiths. The myths didn't die. They transformed into literature, art, and language. Artemis, not only a huntress, protector of animals, childbirth, and young women, with a deadly memory for insults. 12 Olympians, a tradition, not a constant. Titans, complex, not comic book villains. Pandora, a jar, not a box, and the first woman in many tellings. I'm Titan007. If you learned something new, share this with a friend who still thinks sirens are mermaids. See you next time.